This was the stage on which the Premiership's foremost Costa Rican made his name, and what a name. Paulo Cesar Wanchop Watson left his calling card here last April and now returns very much as a known quantity, watched from the stands for the first time in this country by his mother Patricia. The only predictable thing about her son is his unpredictability, a quality that made the likes of Gary Pallister look like novices last season as the wonders of Wanchop were unleashed on unsuspecting opposition. The champions' side today is that which finished Wednesday's victory at Villa Park. Paul Scholes is free of suspension but not of a knee injury. Solskjaer is indisposed. They've lost 3 of their last 6 league games. The Derby lineup is perhaps the most attacking that Old Trafford will see all season. They play with 3 men up. One of those, Baiano, is back after being rested. Delap is a recent signing from Carlisle with a prodigious long throw. And 4 of these players are 1 booking away from suspension. In fact, Derby have received more yellow cards than any other Premiership team this season, and Mike Reid has produced those cards more frequently than any other referee. Manchester United get us underway against a side that have lost only 1 of their last 9 games against the champions. And of course, while statistics prove nothing at all, they do suggest that Derby are, like Chelsea, not Old Trafford's most appreciated visitors, which is no reflection on their footballing ability whatsoever. They've been excellent to watch throughout this, their second consecutive Premiership season. Gary Pallister with an early header. It's again a full house of 55,000 plus inside Old Trafford. But unlike last week when 8,500 from Barnsley roared their side on in the FA Cup, Premiership regulations are rather different, and so only 3,000 Derby voices are in support of their team today. Alex Ferguson's record against Derby is not too impressive. 11 games against them and only 3 wins. Igor Stimac in the middle there, organising things as Schmeichel takes the free kick. Header from Christian Daly, but now David Beckham, intercepted by Stimac and then by Daly, but Beckham's got it back. This is Butt, and now Andy Cole. It was deflected, and it's behind for a corner. This is a vibrant opening from the home side. Although for those in white shirts, it's not so much vibrant as just plain worrying. Pallister forward for this set piece. To be taken by Beckham. Short to Butt, who's not been picked up. 6 to aim for. That's a poor cross in the circumstances. Everyone had gone near postish, and that was beyond the far. His problem so far has just been getting hold of the ball. Gary Neville. But Beckham. Unerringly finding Sheringham, whose layoff didn't really accrue. Eranio. Baiano's gone to the right. This is Wanchop through the middle. Wanchop with a miss kick, really. Didn't make firm contact. But an early warning for Manchester United about a player they already know plenty about. Sheringham. Philip Neville. Now Butt. Back to Sheringham. Under direct operations with help from Irwin. This is Giggs. No, it's Cole. And it was Daly that stuck out the boot. Paulo Wanchop has this effortless gait which allows him just to glide across the face of defenders. One moment he wasn't there, the next he was. Wanchop. Pallister. Irwin. Sheringham with a bit more time and space, feeding Giggs. The obvious ball was Cole. Sheringham's continued his run. This is Giggs! Brilliant! A smile of celebration from the Welshman who started the move and finished it emphatically. The pass to Cole, who took a look up, sized up the situation and delivered the perfect centre. Form was caught in no man's land. The Estonian keeper started to come, then retreated and was lost somewhere in the middle. Ryan Giggs' 8th goal of the season, and he's only 2 short of 50 in league competition now. And Andy Cole, not always appreciated for his build-up play, with the little look up and the ideal centre. Bayano. Chris Powell. Berg asked to turn. Lovely ball to Irwin. Cole is making a diagonal run in field. Now he's pulled away, and Irwin has found him. All that was lacking was the control. Sturridge. That's the first time that Derby have conceded a goal in the first half of a Premiership game in 3 months. Irwin. Unerringly finding Giggs. Sheringham. A bit more flow about United now, encouraged by the goal. Philip Neville's cross. Giggs. Quickly dispatched by Form. Irwin's header might fall for Bayano. It has. And he's got one shot free, couldn't squeeze it through. Irwin with a fine challenge. Sheringham. Giggs. Huge hole opened up. Cole's unmarked. This is Andy Cole. And at the second attempt, it should have been 2-0. A look of anguish on Cole's face. The same two that created the goal combining again. Good save first time by Porm, who should have been beaten second time around. Dean Sturridge. Just dispatched by Powell as Beckham closed in. The referee has seen enough. It's not been the most wonderful of halves, but Manchester United deserve their advantage. Not too many inspired moments, but there was one which ended with Giggs scoring with his left foot from a pass provided incisively by Andy Cole. There's not much more to say, really. And in 2 figures and 3 words, there's the story thus far. This has been a fairly subdued affair so far. Maybe something to do with Manchester United's recent record here. They've failed to win any of their last 3 at Old Trafford. One would imagine it's in Derby's interests if the tempo is upped a little bit. A portion of the first period was played more or less at strolling pace. This is Chris Powell. Now to play off Philip Neville. And Jim Smith, in his 26th season as a league manager, has delivered his words of advice and guidance. But lofted in the hope that Giggs will get on the end of it. Not even Giggs with turbochargers would have got to that. Pallister. Stimats. Carsley. A little awkward for Henningberg. Now the responsibility rests with Schmeichel, who will have been practicing those, you can rest assured of that. Ooh. Foot from Cole, landing in the midriff of Stefano Aranio. And bearing in mind the position in which contact was made, it's no great surprise that Aranio has gone down in something of a crumpled heap. Far be it from me to mention it, but they've just started play with a drop ball. Irwin is back on, although not our sense fully with us. One shot. That was a little lazy. Bayano. Gary Neville should have the legs to get there in front of Chris Powell. But it went rather more quickly than he expected. Cole. Beckham. Giggs is free on the far side, and Beckham seemed to know that. Look at that for a pass. This is Ryan Giggs. Cole arriving at speed. It's still Giggs. And still Giggs. But kicked clear by Rowett. And Derby were more or less at breaking point. Philip Neville. And the now mostly recovered Irwin wins the throw. But Ryan Giggs with the ball at his feet is an awesome sight for defenders. And some of them seem to be in awe. Denis Irwin. Sheringham. But Irwin. Time to assess the situation. Cole. And here comes Giggs. Out came Form. Just got enough on it. Now Form retreats. Cole. And Nicky Butt. Well over the bar. But Mark Form had an adventurous little spell. All created from the space afforded to Irwin. And Form formed the barrier to block Giggs. And then when Cole returned the ball, watched it sail high over the bar. One chop. Bayano. Sturridge. Irwin. Sheringham. Couldn't divert it past Rowett. He got an outside edge. Irwin. Bayano. Back to Irwin. Those two haven't combined quite as much as usual. This is one chop. And now Bayano. There are three waiting for the cross. This is Irwin. And that was Beckham who put it behind. And it's as well for Manchester United that David Beckham did intervene, because Schmeichel was not in the most comfortable of territory. Derby have to lap at the near post. Sturridge on the line. One chop. Stimac. Irwin all waiting. On by one chop. Wouldn't quite fall. And there was some pushing in there. And the free kick has been taken too quickly for referee Reed's liking. Sheringham. Cole. Rowett. Race between Pallister and Sturridge. Irwin. Giggs. Rowett for Derby. Bird. Gary Neville. But Beckham. This is Cole. There are runners through the middle, one of whom is Giggs, who's round the goalkeeper, and the referee gives a penalty for the infringement by Rory Delap, who halted Ryan Giggs. Cole's clever header. Rory Delap playing only his second Premiership game, ruled to have pushed Giggs over. A yellow card for the youngster. But Ryan Giggs has earned the penalty. Derby feel aggrieved. And with Teddy Sheringham having missed his last three penalties, the responsibility falls to Denis Irwin. Mark form in the Derby goal, saved from Sheringham at Pride Park, but this time it's a different case and a different outcome. Sent the keeper entirely the wrong way. And now Manchester United have some daylight and some comfort. It was Rory Delap who made contact with Ryan Giggs inside the penalty area. But how much contact, and was it that caused Giggs to fall? Bayano to Chris Powell, one shot calling for it. Bayano wasted for Irwin, who United haven't really picked up. Michael Clegg should have got a little tighter to him. Butt, virtually in the right wing position. Butt's cross, Giggs couldn't get there, Cruyff does, took a deflection off Delap and was put behind by Daly. That was very nearly a much more telling contribution from the newly arrived substitute. Hit Delap first and then flicked off the boot of Daly. Jordi Cruyff appearing in the Premiership for only the 5th time this season. Manchester United making their 3rd change. Ryan Giggs is limping a little, but he scored the first goal and earned the penalty. And Brian McClare, who 10 years ago in this fixture scored a hat-trick, that's how long he's been at the club, is on in Giggs' place. A worrying sight with Europe looming, though. And a mess of it made by the goalkeeper Form, but primarily because Sheringham was up there impeding him. He's getting a fine ovation, because he effectively has settled this game. It's a worry for Alex Ferguson, for whom Europe is, of course, his top priority. Clegg wasn't really given a fighting chance of retaining possession. This is Dean Sturridge. Clegg did well. Bayano. And through for Sturridge, who's onside. Irwin, Sturridge, side netting. And Schmeichel's furious. The object of his ire is the referee's assistant. Sturridge was allowed to continue, but still couldn't find the net. The referee has looked at his watch a number of times. We're in the 4th minute of added time. Chris Powell, rather hemmed in. Stinats always fancies himself as a footballing defender, but doesn't have a chance to show his skills because the final whistle brings a conclusion to a regulation home victory for the reigning Premiership champions. Jim Smith's side, who performed so well so often this season, never really able to mount a sustained challenge, and the victory has been accomplished with minimal fuss. Paulo Wanchope, perhaps Derby's main threat in the build-up to this game at least, was well restrained, and after a problem with their vertical hold, Manchester United have resumed normal service, it seems, with back-to-back Premiership victories. And alarmingly for their rivals, they are 2 points better off than at this stage of last season, when of course they won the title by 7 points. It's going to take an awful lot to catch them now.